determine the measures of all the angles between negative 800 and 800 that are coterminal with 85 degrees in standard position. So I'm going to start off by drawing 85 degrees in standard position. Can you tell me another angle, and we'll label them here, coterminal with 85 degrees? Who wants to start off with the easiest one? What do you think would be the easiest one coterminal with 85 degrees? 85 degrees. All right, feel good. Got one. Whew. 85 degrees, right? What they say, all angles in between negative 800 and 800, 85 is an angle in there. It's going to end at 85. 445. How did you get 445? Just guessed? You added 360, right? Because 360 is going all the way around once. If, let's change, oh, wait for this. I'm going to color code things here. Let's go with orange, yes. That's a good idea. And if I want to draw my orange one on here, that would be 445 degrees. What happens if you added 360 again? You would get to 805 degrees, but we're only going up to 800. So we don't have to do 805, and 805 would be too much. But we could still go backwards. What would this angle be? It's going to be negative because we're going in the negative direction. 275. Wow, that's a bad looking 5. Here we go. No, that's not purple. Man. There it is. Good save. Negative 275 degrees. Did anybody do 85 minus 360 to figure that one out? Okay. So one way you could find an angle, you can always find coterminal angles by adding or subtracting 360 degrees. What would happen if you subtracted 360 degrees again? Need a color I haven't used, black. If I subtracted negative 360 again, I'm going to get negative 535 degrees. What would that look like? Once around and then end there. Okay? If you're just using pencil and someone looks at your notes later on, oh, wait for it. I have to, negative 635. There we go. Thank you. Negative 635. Yeah, and if you're just using pencil, someone might look at your notes later and just decide that you were scribbling, because drawing all those circles on there might end up look like you just scribbled. Yeah, okay. And if you went again, can you see you would go past negative 800? So a thing that we noticed, you can find coterminal, that is quite the M, coterminal angles by adding or subtracting (360 degrees) as many times as you want. Add it once, add it twice. So we could keep going, just find another one, add 360 again, find another one, add 360 again. Okay? Oh my. Oh my, oh my. Part B. Write them all down. All right? There's your homework for tomorrow. Start now. Don't stop working until you've written them all down. And I want a list of all of them tomorrow before class. Oh, we have class this afternoon. There you go. Just start. Skip your class right after lunch. And just keep adding and subtracting. Just write them all down. How long is this going to take you to write them all down? Forever. Perfect. It's a perfect homework assignment. Right? Once you're done, you will pass the course. If you don't finish, you'll fail. That would be quite the assignment, and yet mathematicians need to do this every once in a while. We need to write them all down. How do we do that without actually writing them all down? Because writing them all down does take forever. So we need to come up with some sort of formula to say, I could write them all down using this formula. And the way that mathematicians do that is they say the same thing we did in writing. You can find them by adding or subtracting 360 degrees as many times as you want. So what does that look like? I want to take my 85 degrees. I want to add 360 degrees. How many times? I'm going to just put k. Could be once, could be twice, could be 500 times, could be negative 300 times. But I need to define what k is. Am I allowed to add 360 degrees 1.5 times? No. I can only add 300 whole chunks of 360 degrees or whole negative chunks of 360 degrees. I can't just add, a part of 360 degrees, because then it's not going to end in the same spot. So I need to define what k is. So I can add this if k is a positive or negative whole number. Does that make sense? Because you could add 360 degrees, that's fine. Or you could subtract 360 degrees, then k would be negative 5. What are those numbers called? Positive and negative whole numbers are called? Naturals, just the positive ones? You remember the name for the positive and the negative ones? Integers. Do you remember the symbol for integers? Okay? So in words I'd write where k is an integer, okay? But we're trying to be mathematicians here. And mathematicians like to write as few words as possible. That's why they did so poorly in English, because their essays were as short as possible, saying, I got my point across in the quickest way as I could, and I didn't want to waste time writing words. That's sort of a mathematician point of view. So mathematicians go, where k is an integer is way too many words to write. Like, this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, right? 18 letters that I could have been like practicing my times table instead. So mathematicians will say k, this symbol that looks like a C and an E, that if they got married and had a kid, that's what it would look like. That symbol means belongs to. K belongs to the integers. And I have a special symbol for the integers, which is a Z with 2 lines. Did you learn that? Or in grade 9, did you learn the I with 2 lines for integers? Okay. Now, the I with 2 lines is sort of a North American, Americanized. The international symbol is with the Z. It comes from the German word Zahlen, which means number. That's where it comes from. You mostly use this one, right? The real numbers. You've seen like for domain, x belongs to the real numbers. That's the one you're more familiar with. That's all numbers. The integers are just positive and negative whole numbers. So we write that all the coterminal angles are 85 degrees plus 360 degrees times k, where k is any integer. And that is way better than deciding to list them all. Saves a lot of time. So mathematicians are like, yeah, listing them all, that's like worse than writing an English essay, because that takes forever. English essays just feel like they take forever to write. Okay? So, questions to practice. Numbers in 4 and 5.